Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you some more Panzer. So, when last we met, I think I'd finished turns 1 and 2. It's been a couple of weeks. I've been working quite a bit, and then last weekend I just kind of got lazy because I only had 1 day off, so I got a little bit lazy, but I figured it's time to get another maybe turn or two. So what we're looking at right now, it's turn 3. The Germans won the initiative, and they decided that they wanted to fire first because we're starting to get into positions where we like, right? So both sides are kind of doing that. So we're getting into positions that we want to be in or close to. So it's going to be a little bit more trading fire, I think. So the Germans decided to shoot first and then ask questions later. So I've kind of got it all plotted out for both sides, for both the Germans and the Russians, and depending on, so that it's not simultaneous fire. So if the Germans take any of the Russians out, then some of these lines on here aren't going to matter. For example, this guy down here, so if he gets killed, then he doesn't get to fire back. And then, of course, the same goes up here. So the Germans having a little bit better guns as far as range, and then I think... so the Germans have a little bit better range. So we're firing it down here, we're firing at medium range, where the Russians are firing at long range, just because I guess it kind of reflects the better guns and probably the better optics on the tanks at the time. So we'll go ahead and start from the bottom and then work our way up. All right, so here we go. We'll start down here. I've already got it written down. 30% chance for this Panzer to hit that T-76. And that is a miss. All right, so it's not starting off things good here. So then here we've got both of these tanks. I only have one line drawn, but there's 2 tanks here, so both of them will fire. We need a 50% chance. And the reason for the difference, because the ranges are the same, is this guy has a short halt on, so he is going to shoot and then move. And these guys are they just have a fire command, so they're not going to move. So they're kind of being penalized for rushing their shots so that they can move. So 50% chance times 2. Well, that one looks like a miss. Yeah, that's a miss. And then, ooh, man, Germans not doing good, at least down here in the south. So then we've got this shot here on these guys in the woods there. So it's a 40% chance because this tank is in light cover. So 44, that is a miss. And then lastly, we've got this Panzer IV firing at that T-76, 45% chance. I'm wondering why that's 40. It's the same range, medium range. That's a 45 and that's a 40. I don't know. Both of them are in light cover. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. So anyway, that's a 74. So looks like the Germans had a bunch of misses, which the Russians are going to be happy about. So we'll go ahead and return fire here with a 24% chance, so not very good. All right, that is a miss. Right here. Ooh, we might, if we can hit, that's a good side shot. That'll probably destroy that guy. 24% chance. And that is a no. And then last but not least, we'll go here, 40%. And that is a 62. All right. So it looks like we had a whole lot of nothing on that combat phase. So now we'll go to the movement phase. The Russians will get to go first, followed by the Germans. We do have some guys that have Overwatch tokens. So actually we can change these around a little bit. So let's see who else this guy fired. That guy fired. This matters for spotting purposes. That's why you kind of adjust that token fire remove. So let me see here. So for spotting purposes, a spot move gives you a +2 to spotting, and a spot fire gives you a +3. So if you shoot at somebody, it's easier to spot you, basically. At these ranges here, on this particular map, where our ranges are under 20, so if we look here, hopefully you can see that. So this is your base level of spotting at 0, right? And then it gets changed up or down. So if you have a spot move of +2, then it would go +2 to here. So this is vehicle, V vehicle, L is leg, and I don't remember exactly what S is. S might be support or something like that. It might be for like towed guns or something like that, I think. But I know V is vehicle and L is leg. So vehicle has a base chance of, or a base of 20 hexes. So basically anything on this map you are going to be able to spot. And then there's other things that kind of adjust it down. If you're in cover, then it adjusts it down. So you kind of get a base idea of how the spotting works. But honestly, it's not really an issue just because of the size of this map. But what I'll go ahead and do is I'll clean up these lines real quick, and then I'll go ahead and move some guys around. Alright, just wrapped up the movement. So just to kind of summarize real quick, so this tank, I think he was here. So he's moving here. He's trying to get himself a little bit better position in between these little, these small hills right here. And of course moving closer to here, or to these guys. But his flanks will kind of be protected because of the way the hills are situated. The commander moved out and around. He's kind of exposed himself. He's trying to get in here as well. He might get shot at. Don't know yet. This tank here, he was in the light woods. He moved into this gully. The gully is normal. The clear terrain is level 0. The gully is -1. So he's covered as long as he's in that gully. But he is going to take a shot, Overwatch shot, as he moves into that position. So we'll see if he actually makes it. And then, of course, we have some Overwatch fire here on the moving commander. And again, the Overwatch fire shooting this guy before he actually gets into the gully. This Panzer IV moved up onto the hill to get himself an elevated position. And then we have this Panzer down here. He moved into this rough. He's going to end up trying to look for a hull down position. So that's what this Panzer here in the light woods, he's going to look for a hull down position. In here, he has a 30% chance. And being light woods, he also has a 20% chance to bog down, which basically means he's temporarily stuck. This guy also in the gully, he is going to risk being bogged down, which basically, again, it's temporarily stuck, right? So the bog down rules, or the bogging, is, it's an optional rule that I like to use. So he has a 30% chance to find hull down. Let's see, where's my card? Ah, there it is. I think that -5 on these Panzer IVs, I want to say that is... I want to say that is a negative modifier to bogging down. I don't remember where I saw that. That's the problem, is there's so much information on these cards. It's like, it's hard to find. You've seen it somewhere before, but then when you actually need to go look for it, I believe that's a -5. And the German ones are the only ones that do that. I don't know why they put that modifier on the the chit, right? Like they have, the only information on the chit is the movement. I think. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a bogged down modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with that the way it is. So let's go ahead and figure out. We have to do the bogging down first, because if they get bogged down, then they don't find the hull down position. So let's say there's a 15% chance that they get bogged down. And that is a 25, so they did not. Now we need that same roll to see if they find a hull down position. And that is a 29, so they barely found a hull down. So that is, I don't have the, let me get the token. Let's see here. So this is the problem with this, and I've had my rant in MBT about this same thing. It's like these are large hexes. I think these are 1-inch hexes, and the vehicles are 1 inch, which is great, right? Large chits and large pieces are great, especially for, when you get a little bit older. It's a little bit harder to see things, but the hexes need to be larger in this game, because there can be a large stack of things in one hex, and the hexes get very crowded very quickly. And also facing is extremely important in this game. So as you can see, like when you are, let me see, where's a good one? Here we go, let's do this. When you're facing like this, it's not that bad, right? But then when you start canting your tank, and then you might be surrounded by other things in the same hex. Things will get crowded once you start getting into close combat, like here. If this tank turns, then they just overlap, and the pieces get crowded, and they start pushing each other around and stuff. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. They should have made these hexes a little bit larger. All right, so he was successful in hull down. He can't look for hull down until his next turn. You basically have to expend your entire movement. You have to have a move order, and you have to expend your entire movement for that turn looking for a spot. Now, these guys were lucky, and they found a spot to hide in the woods. It's a little bit better than what they had before. So if you look here, where is it? I think that helps. Well, I know, so the hull down, here we go. So part of what hull down does, it changes so if hull down, all hull and TK hits are treated as a miss. So it basically, you can't be hit in the hull. So that's one of the advantages. And this guy's got a really good vantage point, good overwatch point on that bridge right there. So he's got himself a really good spot, and that's why I wanted to do that. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and resolve our fires, because I'm not going to do the bog down. There's no point checking to see if he bogs down if he's dead. He will have died up here. So let's look. So we got one tank shooting at him at a 40% chance. That is a 91, so he missed. And then we have 2 shots at 40% on that commander, the command tank. So that is a 65 miss. 87, wow. Looks like there's going to be some people that might be turned in as traitors for their cause because they're not hitting their shots. All right, let's see here. Those guys are done. Let's see if he gets bogged down. So when you enter anything that's other than path, road, or clear, Or it's not when you enter, it's when you exit. So he entered that fine, but as soon as he leaves that gully, then he checks for bogging down. So 15% chance, and he is good. So that takes care of turn 3. Looks like we really didn't accomplish much of anything as far as knocking out enemy tanks, right? Everybody decided that, or everybody had a very poor round of shooting this time. We did get to move our positions a little bit, but as far as exciting explosions and tanks being brewed up, yeah, that definitely did not happen. Happened this turn, so as far as the action goes, very uneventful. But we'll be back in a little bit with turn 4. Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and yeah, you're getting a second introduction in the same video because maybe in video time only a split second has passed from turn 3 to turn 4, but in real world time, in real life, IRL if you may, it's been a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. I've lost track of. You lose track of it when you step away from the game a little bit. Work's picking up a little bit, and then of course, laziness also sets in. When I get off of a long trip where I'm gone for a week or whatever, I come back and I want to play video games because video games are easy. I think we've talked about this, or I've talked about this before, and you probably hear that from other YouTube content creators, that do similar things. Unless your main content creation is video games, then obviously video games don't interfere with video games, but video games kind of compete in my life for the time that I have. So video games / laziness. Video games are way easier. So anyway, so turn 4, the Russians won the initiative. Of course, you place your commands first, right? So I placed all my commands, deciding who's going to do what. And something, it's one of those things, I didn't realize, you don't play the game for a while, right? So, you forget things. So there's a limit on the commands that I have. In the previous 3 turns, everybody was getting a command. But there are a limited number of commands you can get. So you look at what your grade is, and then you look at what your, is it command range? No. So you look at your grade and then the number of units you have. So across the top, this chart's a little wonky, but whatever. So I think the Soviets have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we go seasoned over here to 8. So I have 5 available commands. And then Germany has 6 available commands. So I did that. That is one of the good things about this system, is the basic game is pretty easy. And then everything is kind of, the rule systems are very modular, right? So you can go to the advanced game and you can add advanced rules as you get more comfortable, and as your experience level increases with the game, you can add advanced rules, and then you have optional rules that you can add into. So, and you can mix and match all these different rules together, right? Like, okay, I want to add infantry rules now, or I want to add I think I was in the last turn, I had to do some bog checks for vehicles getting bogged down. Totally optional. If you forget about it, whatever. You just, as long as you forget about a rule evenly, right? Like, so you forget about that rule for both sides, then no harm, no foul, right? So the command rules, or the amount of commands I had been playing where both sides get a max amount of commands, and now I just realized, hey, wait a minute, I think there's a set amount of commands that we get. So no harm, no foul, right? So that's one of the great things about the system, is that it's extremely modular, and you can add in rules even in the middle of the game, right? Like, so now I'm going to start doing the command rules, or the available commands. Now, then you also have like command range, like, so you have to be within it. within so many hexes of the lead unit, and you know, so there's all those things too if you want to get that down into the weeds or that granular with something. But anyway, so Soviets or the Russians, they won the initiative. They decided to fire first, so they'll fire all of their guys with fire commands, and then the Germans will fire all of their guys with the fire commands, and then the Germans get to move first. So I've got all the firing solutions plotted out. There's only going to be one possible trade on the board at a time. So this one will be the only one that's affected by a possible hit. If the Russians hit this tank, then he won't get a chance to fire back. Everybody else will be safe. So I've kind of already got it plotted out. The T-34, 11 hexes, it's long range for that tank, 27% chance. The Panzer IV is firing at medium range. Same range, but their tanks are a little bit better. And they have a better chance to hit. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll just work our way up the map, right? So 27%. That is a miss. That's a 56. We'll go ahead and fire this tank here. So they have a 35% chance to hit that tank. We might get a side shot on that if we hit them. 35%. 58. That is a miss. And then, oh, that was the only two. I think all the other Soviet. All the other Soviet stuff is movement. So now we'll go ahead and do the Germans. So we got a 50% chance here. We definitely want to get him off that hill. And we got a 51, so we missed by 1. Yeah, we wanted to get him off the top of that hill because that's a good spot for him. Bad spot for basically all these guys. Well, I think those woods are a height 1. Actually, you know what? We might. Those woods are height 3, so we cannot see through those. This guy is on a height 1, this guy is on a height 1, so these trees actually, they block the way. So that missed. We have a 40% chance here. And that is a hit. So we can go ahead. Where's my card? That is a hit. Alright, so now we got to determine the hit location. So that's in the front arc. It looks like this is a descending shot. I don't know. I think the descending shot, yeah, it's a falling shot, so that's only going to affect the penetration value. So let's find out. So that's a 16, or excuse me. Well, actually, let's just re-roll that again because you don't do both dice. So that's a 5. That is going to hit hull front. Hull front, that is a falling shot. Armor is 14. Let's see if we have a penetration value. Have a penetration value of 18. Or wait a minute, I don't remember. I'm going to have to find out the difference between R and P on there. So hold on, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I got kind of confused. R is range, P is penetration. So we have a penetration value of 18 on a falling shot. So now we need to roll one more die and find out what happens. So that is a 6, so that is a KO. So we knocked you out. So that was that guy, right? That's knocked out. We can pull that off there. I think we'll put that smoke. I'm laying these down on their side because with my camera angle, I don't know. In fact, let's just do that for now. We'll have one standing up. The rest of them are on their sides because maybe you'll be able to see them better. Because I have to basically have the camera directly overhead. And last but not least, we have that there. So that's a 35% chance. And that is a miss. All right, let's see here. Well, again, not much exciting went on in the world of tactical engagements. But I guess everything can't be a hit, right? All right, so what do we got? Now we have movement. We'll go ahead and move all these. I think that guy fired, right? Yeah, that guy fired. So now you have a... okay, he fired. And he fired, all right. So that takes care of that. These guys have overwatches on them, so I think they're going to wait to see what the Russians do. Now, we didn't know, again, this is supposed to be hidden information. We didn't know that these guys had move counters on them. So we wouldn't actually have known, hey, I'm going to wait for that guy to pop out. But that's just part of the nature when you're playing a game that has some hidden information. So the Germans get to move first. What he is going to do is he's going to look for cover in those shell holes right there. He's going to try to find a hold down position like the like this guy down here did. So if we look in shell hole, hold down, you have a 30% chance to find a hold down position. So we'll go ahead and do that. And that's a 93. That definitely is not 30 or less. I think that's, yep, that was the only one, the only German that had a move counter on them. So now we'll go ahead and do the Russians. This is the command tank with the little cube on it. So we want to get him, I think, over to here. Let's look real quick. Let's see what our options are. So if we go there, we will have Overwatch on the bridge. We will unfortunately also be closer to those guys. That's definitely not good. I don't know if I want to be there. And we will also be able to see that spot. What's that, 23? That's 32, so that's 9 hexes, I believe. 9 hexes away. So we are getting 9 hexes for a T-34. Still puts us in medium range. But then we are also in, well, we're in medium range together. They have a penetration of 18. That's tough, man. I don't know if I want him. That's the command tank. That's the problem with that guy. Well, let's do this first. We are going to look for a hold down position there. Hold down in, that's light woods. 30% chance. So hold down up there. 76. That is not good enough to find hold down. I think this guy, he is going to poke out right here. Let me see. So that is going up a level. That's +1. What is the movement into rough? Because that's rough. That's going to cost me 4. That'll cost me 5. I can just, well, you can always move 1 hex, right? As long as it's not prohibited terrain. So I'm going to go there and then go up there. Now I'm leaving gully. So I need to see if I get bogged down as I leave that gully. And I have a 15% chance of getting stuck in that gully. And that is a 0.5, so you got stuck. So I'm going to assume that we kind of faced and now we got stuck. Which that kind of stinks because I really wanted to at least get into the rough. And then here we go. What do we? This is the big conundrum. I'm really these Germans have really. They're kind of in a really good spot. maybe I'll go right there. But as soon as I turn, these guys, they're on overwatch, so I definitely have to watch out for them. Yeah, I think I might rethink that, because I'm going to have... That's definitely tough. Why don't we do this? What do we got? What does that... Okay, those guys can't see me. That guy can. So this guy can see me. I think he's going to be more concerned with this stuff over here. You know what? Whatever. I'm just going to go here. All right, so you moved. Pull that off of you. Now, as a reaction, one tank has an overwatch counter. Okay, this one, he's not going to... I don't know if he could shoot at that guy looking for cover. Probably because he's moving around, right? Like, so basically when you look for cover, it represents you searching your very local area for some kind of very small terrain feature to hide behind. Like think of a small, not full-sized hill, but just something high enough to get you in a hold-down position, or maybe it could be a, you know, in the case of infantry, a pile of logs to hide behind, or you know, a half of a wall, or maybe a big rock, right? That's not full-size terrain, but it's something large enough just for your vehicle or your person to hide behind. So that's kind of what you're doing when you're looking for hull-down terrain. So yeah, we'll say that we can shoot here. So let's see. So we're going to use our overwatch. So that's 22, that's 32, that's 10 hexes, that's medium range. Yep, that's medium range for the Panzer. So we start out at medium. We automatically start out at a 50%. Target was moving, so that goes -2. So now we go down to here, and shooter overwatch is -1. So that gives us a 35%. Oh, and he is in light woods, so that is light cover. So that's another -1. So now we go down to -4, which is a 30% chance. And that's an 87, so we missed. And this guy has a fire. His overwatch is over. Now we will do the same thing right here. So that is hex 23 to hex 32. That's 9. So I think we will be the same with the exception of light cover. He is in the open, so instead of a 30, we will do a 35% chance. And that's a 67. That is a miss. So overwatch. Now these. This is the only problem. Now we're starting to get a bunch of stuff going on in this hex. So this guy, he fired. That guy didn't have anything. So let's see here. Movement phase is done. Pivot, turret. We're not doing any of that stuff. So that is the end of turn 4. Looks like the Germans, I think. I don't know if you can see that or not. But the Germans managed to kill a 3rd tank. And not a lot of movement going on, but now it's getting to the point now where both sides are starting to play that. They're starting to improve their position on the battlefield, start playing that cat and mouse. Now it'll be a battle of attrition, right? As tanks start getting closer to the objectives. You know, you don't want to rush the objective because you're just going to get killed. So, yeah, the movement's slowing down. Now it's just targets of opportunity, right? And that's pretty much what it's boiling down to. So there you have it, folks. That is the end of turn 4. And we'll get back with you in the next video.